So it's been a quick but seemingly very long season of Fantasy Premier League, and I've sat down to pick my Euro 2020 fantasy team, thinking that I'd find it particularly easy because this is what I'm meant to do, isn't it? Make teams. Yeah, it wasn't easy at all. So guys, I sat down and I thought, look, this shouldn't be difficult. Some of the best players in the world are at this tournament. This should be a walk in the park, but that's not exactly how it went down. We're going to go over my Euro 2020 team selection video here today, so if you're excited for it, you know what to do. But I sat down and thought, okay, we need to make the most of the Limitless and Wildcard chip, like I spoke about in the video I did last week. And I'm still in favour of using it all in the group stages, mainly because if I do pretty badly in the group stages and the round of 16, I can just chalk off this European tournament and start focusing on Fantasy Premier League content again, which is quite appealing to me. But if we have a blinding start, we manage to get the round of 16 calls correct on who wins, we could set ourselves up for a really good start to this fantasy game. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and pretend I know it all, because if for some reason or some way content creators are telling you that they've watched other leagues as well as watching all the Premier League games that have happened recently, and also have watched all international football, they've either got way too much time on their hands, or they're lying, or part of a secret society of some sort that injects knowledge into their brains. But either way, let's get into my team, and we start off with the goalkeepers in defence. And we looked at the Group A games and we thought Italy, good defence. Generally, in Italy, defence is a very important part of their football culture. And Donnarumma is a very talented goalkeeper, coming in at 5.5 million. Now, there is the potential for me to go cheaper, just to maybe make some changes elsewhere. And this team is, of course, subject to change, but we like the looks of Donnarumma and we also like the looks of Spinazzola. Again, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these names right, but this is going to be worse than the usual Premier League game where I get names wrong. But again, 5.5 million. So overall, 11 million for two players in an Italian side who I think should do well defensively. Spinazzola isn't nailed on by any means, but he seems, if he does play, to be the defender with the most potential for attacking points, which is why we've gone with him. And then we've gone completely bargain bucket for the rest of the defence, because there's plenty of 4.5 million options are viable, especially if you're playing it match day by match day. We've got Wijnaldum, Mayhul, and Hinteregger. No, I at least butchered Mayhul's name, but you know, they've all got decent fixtures, with Wijnaldum playing for Holland against Ukraine. We've got Mayhul for Denmark against Finland, and we've also got Hinteregger, who does have North Macedonia. Those are all games that could see potential clean sheet points, and then when we get to the bench, we have some decent players to bring on, just in case they don't get those clean sheets. We move on to the midfield, and as you can see, we have another Dutch player with a game against Ukraine, and we've got Wijnaldum. Now, Wijnaldum plays a very different way for Holland than he does for Liverpool, and is a lot more attacking, and definitely has the attacking output potential in this European tournament to be a great pick when we have the opportunity to pick him for each match day. They have Ukraine, and we're hopeful for a good victory here, although Holland haven't looked as good ever since Frank de Boer's come in compared to Ronald Koeman. We also have Ferran Torres, although I do like the look of Dani Olmo as well, but a lot of the play goes down the left, which gives Torres a lot of space down the right, so we're hopeful for really good returns from Ferran Torres, although Spain aren't as strong as the Spain teams of old that we are used to. Then the midfield gets a little bit weak for me in my mind, because the bench player is very weak, and Souček, although I think he's been great for West Ham, isn't really the player I want to bring in for this European tournament. They do have Scotland, and Souček is definitely capable of scoring though. And then we have Alaba, who comes in at a very cheap 5.5 million with that North Macedonia game. He's very friendly priced enabler with that fixture, and he does take set pieces for Austria and is also in a more attacking role than he potentially is when he plays in the Bundesliga. Then up front we do have Romelu Lukaku and Memphis Depay, and to be honest, both with very good fixtures here. Ideally, I would want another Belgian player with their game against Russia. I think Belgium could have a very good Euro 2020 tournament, but Lukaku is an informed striker that a lot of the play will go through for Belgium, so I'm definitely hopeful, and he will be the player to have the captaincy armband on his day of the match day 1. And then, of course, Memphis Depay against Ukraine. He is a very greedy player, likes to shoot on sight, and a lot of the goals will come from Memphis, so we're very eager to have him in this match day 1 team. And then the bench. Only in this game could you have a bench with Cristiano Ronaldo on it, and it makes sense, because any other game, fantasy football game, you'd want Cristiano Ronaldo in your starting 11 every single time. But with the manual substitutions and Cristiano Ronaldo playing on the last day of the match day, he's a perfect player to sub in and a perfect player to give the captaincy armband if we haven't got a haul already by that point. We also have Cancelo for Portugal, with him and Ronaldo playing Hungary, which I think is a great fixture for them. So I'm very eager to have these two in my match day 1 team, although they do of course have the group of death overall. Radecki is just a ridiculous price at 4 million. I just can't believe he's actually 4 million in this game. He's a great goalkeeper. Potentially he won't keep that many clean sheets, but at 4 million I can't really complain, and he can come in for Donnarumma if necessary. And then Nego, wish your name was a little safer to say on YouTube, but 4 million priced, he is an easy enabler and is also playing in the last match day if I really need to bring him in. Not that I'm even that sure he is a starter. The weaknesses in this side, I would prefer a better sub than Nego from Portugal. Also, Souček and Alaba would I like better midfielders potentially, and I could maybe get that if I downgraded Spinazzola or Donnarumma, though I do fancy Italy in that first fixture, and it gives me a game in the first day of match day 1. Please remember that this is fully focused on match day 1, which is why I've not gone with certain teams, even though they are potentially favourite teams in this tournament that I've not covered, and also teams that could do well despite their fixture not being as easy as some of these. But I'm really just trying to see if I can have a really strong start to this tournament, because, like I said, completely honest and transparent, I don't know as much about outside of the Premier League than I do inside it. So guys, in the comments down below, let me know what your teams look like for match day 1 in the Euro 2020 fantasy football game. And also check out the links in the description for Fanteam if you want to join their game, which is a little bit different. Got a video on that you can check out on the channel as well, where you could win a lot of money. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. Of course, if you want to keep up to date with the Euros and when the Fantasy Premier League game starts, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and also like the video to support the channel. It really does help us out. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.